We are live. Yes, yes, yes. And we are live. Good morning, good afternoon, good day. Depends on where you are in the world and what time of day you're watching. Hopefully, you're watching us live, but if not, you're watching the replay. Please welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Lyonsview
Welcome.
Financial Fridays. Yes. My name is Clara Lyons-DeVaughn. I am the broker owner of Lyonsview Realty and the CEO of Lyonsview Real Estate Academy and Lyonsview Lifestyle. Our team provides residential, commercial for small businesses and nonprofits, and property management services. We do real estate pre licensing, continuing education, credit counseling, and distressed homeowner solutions, and newly formed health, wealth, wellness, information, and coaching. So I am so glad that you joined us today. We launched Financial Fridays to help you stay current on those trends that impact your bottom line. And Financial Fridays provides resources, information, and tips to assist you in making the best personal and financial decisions so that you can maximize your wealth building power in all areas of your life now and in the future. So feel free to like and share this broadcast and subscribe to Lions View Realty on Facebook and on YouTube. But today, I have the pleasure of introducing a powerful woman that I admire, I love, and I aspire to emulate. I met this woman at my place of spiritual grounding, Victory in Christ Christian Center. She is a spiritual and professional powerhouse in the area of leadership development. Through her passion for leadership development, she's successfully expanded a nonprofit from 11 to thousands of people. She's managed over 22 departments, over 850 volunteers. She's implemented a $4.3 million building project and continues to grow and develop infrastructure and platforms that not only allow organizations to grow stronger, but that also build and empower leaders. And leaders are our number one asset and resource of any organization or business. So no wonder her company is called MAJ Titanium. This sister is strong and she strengthens and builds strong foundations for organizations, for people, and within people. So I'm so excited to bring you Michelle Johnston, CEO of MAJ Titanium. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Everybody. Good morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're watching this. It's good to see everyone, and I'm so glad to be here. Thank you so much, Clara, for inviting me.
Oh, you're welcome. I am so glad you're here. So tell our audience, good morning, Rhonda. Tell our audience a little bit about yourself and about your business.
Yes. Um, Clara did such an amazing job introducing it. MAJ Titanium is a business. It is my heart. It is my passion. We believe that people are this world's greatest asset. And we truly believe that when you build strong people, they build strong families, they build strong communities, they build strong organizations. And that's what it's about. We approach it in a very holistic fashion, understanding. For all of those that are in the marketplace, that when people come to your companies and to your buildings, they're bringing life with them. And when you have the opportunity to truly invest in them, if they are running their lives well, they will run your business well. And I really believe in that holistic approach. And that's what we do. We go into businesses, we help them build their staff, we help them build their management, and we help them even hopefully internally build within themselves in any way possible, but also building skill level, whether it be team building, any project management. It is all incorporated. That's why I wrote a book called Life's a Project. You just have to know how to manage it. It covers every area. So that is what we do, Clara.
I love that book title. Life is a project. You just know how to manage it. And it's a continuous stream of project after project after project after project. S-
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
So
ma'am.
So your expertise and skills are definitely needed by a lot of people. So today we're going to be talking about decision making, right? And what would you say are the dynamics of decision making? Like, how is that relevant today?
So, man, it's so relevant today. I'm going to tell you why. Because the foundation of decision making is your thought life. There nobody makes decisions without thinking. And so
Mhm.
the question that's really on the table is, what is it that you're thinking? And what are the dynamics of your thought life? And so that is really where it stems from. See, you got to understand that your actions are nothing more than a sum total of what you think. And what you think is just a sum total of inputs that happen every day. The inputs can come from anywhere. It's from what you see, it is from what you hear, it even comes from what you taste. And so there are so many things that drive your thought life. And there are many times that you are trying to make decisions. So, where are those thoughts deriving from? It's three things. They're being derived from insight. Either you're having an insightful thought, you're having an experiential thought, or you're having an incessant chatter thought.
Mm.
And
I have lots
unfortunately,
of those.
I
I have
live. Oh,
lots of those with incessant chatter.
oh, you listen. Everybody now. See, let me explain it this way. Your your insightful thoughts are what you really use for problem solving and your decision making, if you're doing it right. So your insightful thoughts have data, but it has to be good data. If you're going to make a good decision, it has to be good data, it has to be good information, it has to be good communication. That's what makes an insightful, because you have all a full circle of what you need to make a good decision. Oftentimes what happens, people struggle to get there because you're in a seat of power, you're a seat of authority, but you're just going based on what you see and what you think and what you feel. But there's a team around you that has all these different thoughts and different processes. And if you don't grab their data and understand where they're coming from, your decision making will affect them differently than what you think it's going to affect them. And then you wonder why your results are not as good as your results should be. So those are more of the insightful thoughts. Experiential thoughts are more from what you experience within every day. So the reason it matters so much is because in this world right now, we're going through so much. We're experiencing so much. And this is driving how we think and how what our thought life looks like. And then it leads to the last one, which is the worst one, and that's the incessant chatter. That is something that we don't have enough time to go into where it comes from. But what I will say, that everybody has an origin story, everybody has a beginning, everybody has how they've grown up and how it's affected, programmed our minds on how we think. What I love about Clara's show is that when you deal with finances, people don't even realize that a lot of ways in their spending habits and how they go about approaching what they don't rent, whatever it looks like, has a lot to with how we were programmed in our minds growing up, how we look at money, how we spend money, how we save money, all kinds of things. It has a lot to do these incessant thoughts that have been programmed from our origin story, and it just chatters, it just talks and talks and talks and talks and talks. I have actually a amazing thought process to that, because I believe that incessant chatter can be silenced. I believe that you can train your thought life to go to insightful and experiential by silencing all of the chatter, people's opinions, what they think. They like you today, they don't like you tomorrow. Your confidence is going from A to Z, back and forth. You can't produce what you need to produce because you're constantly thinking about things that are not even relevant to what you need to produce. Or can you produce them, or how you produce them? You're more than able, but the chatter is telling you that you can't. And so there is so much to decision making. It is really what you're thinking and how you go about your thought life.
That's really valuable because I have incessant chatter, and I'm vain because I think it's because I have a lot of ideas, and it's what I've learned to do is to focus. So
Yeah.
I actually have to set time limits, and I have to, I might have a list of 20 things,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And I got to say, okay, of these 20, what three am
Yep.
I going to focus on first? And of those three, which one am I going to do first? And then of that one that I'm doing, I need to like set a timer, 10, 15 minutes, and say, okay, for 10 minutes, I'm just going to focus on this one thing and not allow myself all of the chatter to distract me, because it can take you away. Like, it really can take you away, and it impacts your decision in terms of how you spend your time.
Yeah.
So that incessant one, it is a dog. Yes, it'll drag you. It'll be barking like, give me attention. Give me attention. You're like, no, I got to focus.
Yes, your thought life is so incredibly important. And I want to, just even go back to what is the really important one for this conversation, and that's insightful. If you want an insightful person, if you want to have insightful decision making, you really have to have good data. And good data comes from getting around people that are better than you. Listen, you don't have to be the smartest one in the room all the time. Sometimes you need to be at a table with people that are maybe doing what you want to do, but they're doing it better, and you just sit and you listen and you gain data. You gain really good data because it's going to come back when it comes to you then going back to your own area, going back to your own influence, going back to your own organization and influence. What you heard at that table is an input, and that input will drive your thoughts, and your thoughts will drive your actions, and you will see amazing things begin to be produced in your life because you've taken the time to get good data. Good data comes from reading. It comes from getting in out of your little comfort zone or your box and really exploring other people's thoughts and their processes. That's my favorite thing that I love to do. I study models. So whether I'm studying the model of Disney, or whether I'm studying the model of Google, or whether I'm studying the model of Netflix, all of the things that I see that are just incredibly successful, that is what I study to find out, hey, how do they get to do that? How do they build such great employee retention? How do they turn around and their staff is happy and joyful and engaged and just wanting to just do the best for the vision that has been put before them? What are they doing differently than somebody else? Those are the questions that you need to ask yourself as you are driving yourself forward. And in a holistic fashion, those same principles are for your home life. Those same principles are drive you every day. If you're a mom, if there's moms out there kicking butt, find out what that mom is doing so well. How does she balance? How does she organize? If it's a dad out there and he is really doing his thing, finding him and getting good data to find out how they are being so successful in their family life. It's very holistic. And if you teach people the small principles, they can do big things. They can do major things.
Indeed. That insightfulness is really important, getting the data, finding out what's working, seeing what you can emulate and duplicate
Yeah.
inside of your life and inside of your business, because
Yeah.
that's, like you said, you don't have to reinvent the wheel.
And
You
find people smarter than you. Find
can.
people smarter than you. In the area of finance, of just being transparent and authentic and hoping that some of your viewers can ride with me. That's not my thing. Finances are not my thing, and so I recognize that in my areas of weakness, you either improve it or you staff it.
Mhm.
You either improve it You means you can get in there and figure it out, or you can staff it. I'm not going to figure out finances. That's like Greek to me. I mean, I will teach you how to lead all day long, but if you're going to throw in some financial information, if I can never do what Clara does, never. So what I'm going to need to do is get around Clara. And if I can't learn the information, I'm going to have to staff her. I'm going to have to hire her. I'm going to have her help me, because it's not an area of strength for me. And there's nothing wrong with that. When you know your weaknesses, you can go after them. You can, and if you don't have the data inputs, hire somebody that does have the data inputs so you
Yes.
can make great decisions.
Yes. We talk about that a lot here on Financial Fridays, which is developing your power team.
Mm,
And your power team starts with you, which is why it's so important that you're here, because if people don't build their thinking, if they don't build their decision making, they can't make the decisions that put the right people around them. Like you said, know what your weaknesses are. And if you don't got it, hire it or
mm,
bring that person into your power team, because everybody, it's like the body, right?
yeah,
You're the head, you're the brain,
yeah.
you have the thoughts, you have the vision, you're the eyes. I'll put it that way. You're the eyes, but your arms have a different function. Your legs have a different function. Your
Mhm.
heart, your organs, everything has a different function, but the body can't function without everything working in unison, in unity. I'll say unity, together to move forward. So as each person does their part, the eyes are just like seeing what needs to happen and where you need to go, and the brain and the mouth tell you what to do. But all those pieces, all those people are important. So being insightful, having that insightful thinking to know, oh, my arm needs a little help. I need an arm component. I need legs. I need somebody who thinks in this area because I'm not strong in that area. And having the insight to know and gather the information to be stronger, I think, is very important. And you talked about experimental. What was the word? I can't say it. The first one. Ex,
Yes. I'm gonna have you say that again, because the last part was a little pixelated. I didn't hear exactly what you said.
oh, so exponential. So there was inspirational, insightful, right? The first one that you said, exponential, I can't, experimental. How do I say it? Can't
You're a little
pronounce it.
pixelated still, Clara, so I don't know if there's something going on there, but I think you're asking me about the experiential. Is that what you're asking? That word,
Experiential, yes. Yes,
experiential. Yeah.
experiential.
Um, so experiential is really what uh, puts you in the room with people.
Mm,
Sometimes I think we forget that when we're dealing with our employees, our volunteers, when we're dealing with people, we forget that they're people, they're human, they have life happening, right? And so you don't come in, as if nothing has ever happened to you. You have led your life. You have had ups, you have had downs, you've had the good, and you have had the bad. When your thoughts and how what you were thinking and what you were feeling and what your emotion was and what you saw is all a part of your experience. If you have the ability to tap into that in a different way, it drives your decision making, because you know that if people are dealing with the pandemic, right? I'm going to use that as an example. If they're dealing with the pandemic, they come into your office or your space, they don't know whether, they've had 3 deaths, 5 deaths, 10 deaths. They're grieving. Maybe their financials are in despair. Maybe, their marriage disintegrated in the midst of quarantine. You're dealing with people. And if you can come in understanding, well, hey, I had a divorce. I remember what it was like when my wife left me, when my husband left me. I remember how devastated that felt, and be able to bring back those inputs. Then that person is sitting across from you, you know how to talk to them in a different way. You know how to lead them in a different way, because you can say, hey, you know what? I really understand what you're going through. And these are some of the things that maybe I did. You come from a total different place when you're making your decisions. Should there be bonuses? Should there not be bonuses? Can we afford bonuses? You begin to think about where your people are. Because let me tell you something. If you don't have people, you don't have an organization. You don't have a company. You don't have a corporation. They are your greatest asset. And it should always be a concept of, what can I do to empower them? What can I do to build them? What can I do to make them better so they can make us better? And I think that is an important experiential concept that you have to have. Making it holistic for those that are on the line. It's everyday life. Everything that you've been through is nothing more than a platform for you to help your families do better, help your children do better, build legacy within your own families. How does that happen? It happens from experiential thought life, because you then have the ability to dig back. Man, I did that wrong. I had the most amazing conversation with my girls just a couple days ago, where they were asking me all types of questions. And I'm telling you, it got real vulnerable. It got real, but they're now 17 years old and 20 years old. They're about to go out in that world. My experiences help them get on another level, another platform, if I'm willing to be open and honest and authentic with them from my experience and from my thought life. What am I doing? I'm now giving them inputs. They haven't even been through it, but I'm giving them inputs now that go into their brain, that help them turn around and help their decision making, which builds legacy. And that is very important.
Yeah, and you kind of touched on my next question, which is why decision making is so important personally and in business, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. It's vital. It is. You cannot, everything is a decision. Getting up in the morning is a decision. You
Mm,
don't have to get up in the morning. You don't have to get out of bed. You do have, everything is decision making. And so in businesses and corporations, understanding these thoughts, these actions, these inputs really will drive you in a different way, if you take the time to consider them in that way.
mhm. So, what are some of the indicators that warrant a shift, in your activity or your actions, either before you've made a decision or after you've made a decision?
Okay, ask it again one more time. I'll make sure I got the first part.
Okay. What's an indicator that warrants a shift in your actions or your activity, either before you make a decision or after you've made a decision? So you might say, I made this decision, but I don't know if it was the right decision or the wrong decision. So what are some of those indicators that say ding, 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 right, wrong decision? Or before you're getting ready to make a decision, what are some of the things to think about
Yeah.
before you say, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that?
I so appreciate that question, because it's something that we all face all the time. And my question would be, anytime, you're in that decision moment, I would ask a very simple question that can be really complicated too. And it's, what do you know?
Mm, okay.
What do you know? Because a lot of times what happens is things happen, right? And you're trying to make this decision, but you don't have, again, all the information. You haven't asked the tangible questions to gain enough information to even make a decision. And a lot of times people just make a decision on the whim. They'll just make it, all of a sudden they'll make a decision. And when they make that decision, they turn around and they're like, man, that was a horrible decision, because the people that it affects, right? The people that have to execute whatever that decision was, they're like, what? I don't know what to do with this.
Yeah.
Everybody's in an uproar. So you realize in that moment, oh wow, when I made that decision, this affected this, it affected this, it affected this. If I would have had that information, I would have made a different decision. So my question, flag pre-decision making, would be, what is it that you know? And then I would ask myself a second question. What is it that you don't know? What is it that you don't know? And then get to the people that have that information. Listen, no man is an island. We are interdependent on one another. You're not going to have everything in your brain. I don't care if you are a Harvard graduate with 3 degrees behind your name. You are a Rhodes Scholar. I don't care how brilliant you are. Everything is not going to be in that big, beautiful brain, because we are interdependent. We are an ecosystem all within ourselves. No man is an island. And so other people have brilliant thoughts that can turn around and make your decision brilliant. Take the time. These people are your greatest asset.
That's amazing. That's really good. And it gets back to that, the word I can't say. Experience.
Experiential.
Break it down for me.
Experiential. EXPER. Oh, here I go. Right. What is it? Experiential. TIAL.
Experiential. The people around you. Insightful. Getting the information, getting the facts. And the last one, number 3,
is that incessant chatter. That's the bad one. That's the one have to just really bring into control. Incessant chatter too, what I find out when I really talk to people, has a lot to do with too many inputs. So, I love to watch TV. I love television. I love Netflix. I love all of those things. But oftentimes, if you're watching a lot of mess, those are your inputs. And so it comes out a lot in the way that you think in your thought life, and it talks to you, that's that incessant chatter that just happens in your thinking, and, and you're just hearing all kinds of, you got to be able to clear away that stuff. Incessant chatter can also be your insecurities. Your insecurities talk to you a lot. So that is the incessant chatter. That's why people don't step out in their greatness. That's why they don't, offer that solution to that problem. They've got the answer, but they don't offer it because of the incessant chatter in their mind saying that, oh, nobody's going to listen to you. You're not valuable. Your opinion doesn't matter. It silenced them. And so you want to take your employees and your volunteers and your staff and pull out their greatness so that you can be great, and get rid of that incessant chatter, empower them differently.
Wow, this has really been phenomenal. I feel like I've been to a therapy session, because you hit on so many things that I'm going through, and I'm sure our listeners go through as well. And you put it in such a concise and organized manner that people can actually see where they are. And I think that's very important, to be able to see where you are so you can move forward to where you need to go. So I appreciate that. Is there anything else that you want to share before we wrap?
I don't think so. I just think that this is such an amazing just topic, and just platform. Anything that is going to just empower people in this time to be better and to do better, whether in your finances, whether it be in your life, whether it be on your jobs or things that you're striving for. Just continue, because it needs to be heard and it needs to be shared. So,
Indeed, indeed. So make the requests, know what you know, ask what you know, ask what you don't know.
Ask what you don't know. That's a big one.
Focus, tone down that incessant chatter, source where that's coming from, and focus on the things that you need to focus on.
Yes.
Be insightful, get the information that you need to make the best decision. Be
have an experiential thought life.
Have an experiential thought life. So bring the people around you, recognize the people around you, value the people around you and what they bring to the table, not only for you, but what they bring to the table in general, that, just value them as people and as human beings, because, we all need each other. So those are the things that I grasped. It was a lot, but those are the things that I pulled out. And um, Jade says, great information. If you have any questions for Ms. Johnston, you can put it in the comment section and I'll ask that question. But I just want to thank you, because this is really, really great. We make decisions every single moment. That's the nature of the brain. We're constantly thinking about what we're going to do next, how we're going to do it. And your book, the title of your book again, I'm going to put it in the chat.
Oh. Yeah, so it's a workbook that I do along with my classes. I offer classes on Teachable platform. You can go to my website. The books are there. It's Life is a Project. You just have to manage it. And so, yeah, that's the book. I have another book called Built to Last, just help empower people to get past their current situations and circumstances. And so you can go to my website, and I think Clara has it up, michelleandreajohnston.com, and get all of that information. I have some great spring classes coming up that really are going to teach on 360-degree communication, conflict resolution, team building. I already have a class up called Leading from the Inside Out. And it really goes into depth because it really teaches about your origin story. It teaches about your character. All of these things play a part in how you show up in your life. It is very intricate, but if you take it, I think it'll really change the dynamics of how you are approaching your life. I really think it will. But you can find all of that on my website. I do teacher guided, or you could do it on your own. In the spring, there'll be teacher guided courses. And Clara, I'll make sure you get the information so you can share it
I
with
could put it out there, most definitely. And if for our business managers who are out there, what services do you have for, organizations as well as the individuals?
So for organizations, again, this next spring class, module 2 that I'm teaching is really going to cover that. It is, I told you, 360 degrees communication, team building, conflict resolution, and much, much more are things that are going to be in that module that will help you and your team really approach 2021 in a way that will really drive the vision of that corporation or that organization. Again, you're only as good as the people that you have around you. They are your greatest asset. Invest in them so they can invest in you.
Yeah. And I just have to say, you are a phenomenal leader. You are a phenomenal teacher. Um, and the way you, like I said, you make it so easy, the way you guide and structure and build and develop. Titanium, strong. You're just a strong sister, and you build and empower people to be strong in what they're doing for themselves individually and within organizations. I've seen it firsthand, what you do daily, and with grace and with ease, So if there's stuff going on, if there's incessant chatter going on, I do not see it. I do not feel it.
Oh, everybody has it.
You make it just seem so simple and so easy, and that's your gift. And I'm really glad and happy that you are sharing this gift with the world through MAJ Titanium. So thank you. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for being our guest. Definitely reach out to Miss Michelle Johnston for your personal and your organizational development needs. Our guests are here as a resource for you. So if there are any question that you didn't get answered, you can put it in the chat. Make sure that your question gets answered. And if you need her services for yourself or for your organization, definitely reach out to her through her website. So definitely share this video so that other people can get this information and be in contact with her. You can always like, share, and subscribe, and post any questions that you have in the chat. So I want to thank you for joining us today. I want to thank those of you who watched today, we're really here to provide you with resources, information, and tips that impact your life, and that I hope that you receive something of value for you today. And as always, we want to send love, light, and prayers out to anyone who has lost a loved one. If you have anyone who's in the hospital for whatever reason, if you are experiencing physical distancing in any way, and most definitely to our essential employees, to our healthcare workers, our transportation, food, police, fire, and most definitely our leadership, the people, because people make the world go round. I just encourage you to take care of your family, take care of yourself, and stay safe. My name is Clara Lyons-DeVaughn. Financial Fridays streams every Friday on Facebook and YouTube, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. So you can join us again next Friday. Until then, keep living your best life. Thank you, Miss Johnston. Love you.
Heart, 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 heart.
Yes.